Hello, welcome to Tim and Joel Call It in the Ring. It's National Tight End Day, Joel. The day in which, inferring from context, not American myself, in which Americans, even the most conservative, can let their hair down and say, damn. Right? That's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. As a non-football watcher myself, that sounds exactly right. What is that like in hockey? National
Baggy butt day.
goaltender day?
I don't know. There's not a lot. There's too much gear. There's too much gear in hockey to admire much of anything. And then when you do see their face, it's all beardy and busted with the teeth. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just think they're
Give me football, baseball any day. I think
baseball, football. What are you talking, like soccer, baseball, like we used to play out on the field back when we were kids?
No, I'm talking about asses.
Oh, we're still talking about asses.
Or pro wrestling, which happens to be the subject of this podcast.
It is, isn't it? I guess that's why we're here every Sunday at noon Eastern on Fightful
Talk about pro
Overbooked.
wrestling asses.
That's right. We talk about pro wrestling asses. So leave a thumbs up for our asses and leave a comment if you're here for the asses. And maybe if you want to subscribe to us here at Fightful Overbooked, we'll talk about more butts. How about we'll put butts in seats? How's that, Tim?
Seat butt.
We got our super chats too. If you go over to the chat, you can donate a super chat just by pressing that $sign at youtube.com/Fightful Overbooked. Any amount is supporting us, and we appreciate that because that way I can do things like pay Tim back for all the incredible work he does when we go to shows and he mans the camera and the audio and edits everything together, and then everything gets lost and then he has to recover everything and it's a whole rigmarole. I appreciate you, Tim. So send in your
done. We saved the day.
Send in your Tim appreciation super chats. I don't need to be appreciated, so I'm just here for the ride. And in the ride, we have our Discord. There's a link in the description of the video. Go ahead, join us on the Fightful Overbooked Discord. Don't tell Sean Ross Sapp. He would never believe that it exists anyway. That's good enough for me. Tim, so much wrestling. Where do we start? Do we want to talk about Halloween Havoc last night?
Well, yeah, I think, you know what? It's the first time I've tuned into NXT and probably months.
Really?
So, and I got to tell you, it feels like I didn't miss much, weirdly. And the product has supposedly changed quite a bit, what with the shuffle on commentary and things. But like, aside from a couple of questions, I was just like, oh yeah, this is pretty much where I left off.
So for those who don't know, when we used to do the show on our own channel, we would talk about NXT quite a lot because our time slot would fall around NXT time. So we would have quite a long conversation about what's going on. And also some of the NXT stuff was more interesting at the time. Regardless, the event last night was a little bit closer to 2.0 than we've seen lately, to be honest. If you've watched any NXT in the last, let's say, month, they started making little changes here and there incrementally, and you can see the main event was really good. We're going to talk about that for sure. The ladder match was very NXT oriented ladder match.
as big time.
And then the ambulance match was kitschy. The toxic attraction and Alba Fire stuff was pretty kitschy. It was
pretty much a carbon copy of the last black and gold thing with Dexter Lumis. Like there was very little kind of alteration to that. They took that formula and just redid it.
Yeah, and listen, some of it's entertaining and some of it's fun. I treat NXT that way. It's like they're throwing stuff at the wall, trying to figure out hey, is this something that our talent's gonna like when they move on to the main roster? But main rosters changed a little bit, so they don't necessarily need to do a toxic attraction goes to the haunted house type.
No, and that if I guess we can start with that. It had its moments. Partial when it leans into how stupid it is, then I think it did pretty well. One thing they did much better, I think, was some of the makeup. It's a shame because some of the ghouls had real lazy, low effort stuff, and then other ones were oh damn, that looks pretty good. Like the pumpkin monster, and some of the Roddy face people. I think they might have brought in the Chucky crew to do a little bit of work for their weird crossover crap. Because you could see there was a marked difference between some, and then there was a zombie with all just white face paint and a little bit of black goo. It's
the last minute addition to the
match. But I don't know, that Gigi Dolan segment was actually pretty funny because she was just so like corny and like leaning into it. I enjoyed the little seat at the table tea party thing, but that's kind of it.
She's also like a huge horror movie fan, so for her
Yeah,
having the time of her life, and that's great. Like I love stuff
yeah,
when they lean into it. Yeah, it was fun. It was painless. I think a lot of people wanted Alba Fire to walk out with the NXT Women's Championship.
yeah. I mean, I kind
And
of
that
did, but I'm not surprised it didn't happen. Like the second I heard Vic Joseph be like X amount of days away from 1 year, I was like, oh, all right. I guess Mandy Rose is retaining.
that's always how I felt. It was
Yeah.
always like, and also, pulling the curtain back, she just lost a family member, and
Oh,
Mandy Rose came back very quickly, and it's something that at the end of the match you see her kind of kiss and look up and saying this one's for Richie. So um we sent our thoughts out to her and our love, and also it felt like it's not time yet for her to let go of that title.
yeah,
There's a bigger story that's been kind of building in the background but not really there yet, and that's the Roxanne Perez story. And I
yeah,
still
yeah, yeah,
think very much that it's going to be Roxanne to take that title from Mandy Rose. And then Cora Jade and Roxanne are going to have a whole slew of matches that will either be really good or really bad, depending on how they do them. But that's kind of the way I see it. Toxic Attraction moves up to Raw or SmackDown. I would love to see them inevitably feud with Damage Control if Damage Control
yeah.
ever turns into a face team, which could be done. It's not impossible. People like
No.
them.
Yeah, yeah,
They just have
yeah.
to change their name, get new music, stop doing. There's a list of stuff, but the point
What
is,
happens to Bailey in that sense? Maybe they ditch her.
you could ditch Bailey, but you still need a third because Damage Control is a
Yeah, yeah,
three-person
yeah, for
team, and
sure.
so is Toxic Attraction. Regardless, like I'm spitballing. Who knows where all these teams are going to be in a year? But I do see that it's Mandy Rose dropping it to Roxanne, and then being like a passing of the torch to let Toxic Attraction move on. They were there for 2.0, and now we're going to move on with this next crop of talent. That's
Yeah,
fine
I
with
think
me.
you're right. I think you're right.
Speaking of next crop of talent, you want to talk about that ambulance match?
Yeah. So
Wow.
I didn't know who Damon Kemp was because I missed all of that. But something NXT did phenomenally well was walking me through the timeline. Like I was like, who's this guy? I missed all of this. They spelt it out for me. I literally like, oh, I stopped off at this point. Here's what happened since. Poor Roderick Strong, my God. And then yeah, I got kind of all I needed to know out of that in like a tight little package. And then it was good.
Tight end day.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay, so do you know who Damon Kemp is for real?
Nope, not a clue.
Uh, Gable Stevenson's brother.
That looks correct.
Yeah,
Weird that
Bobby
he's on
Stevenson.
TV before.
So Bobby Stevenson signed about a month or two before Gable officially signed his contract with WWE. And not Gable, Bobby, I should say, Damon Kemp is having a wonderful run at WWE, just period. As a wrestler, as a storyteller, he's getting better every week. Again, it's developmental,
he's
so
got a
I'm willing
he's
to
got a
look
good
past some
vibe
things.
like to
Yeah,
him, period. Like better than Gable. So like
yeah.
I'm not surprised that he's getting kind of the shove first because he's got a good feel to him. He's got a good look. He comes out and he's holding that chair and he looks vicious as hell. And then that ambulance match was baller, like really, really great to see.
And then Julius Creed coming out and immediately hucking pumpkins.
Yeah,
That's what you do. That's
just
the
hucking
people in the
pumpkins.
Midwest were just like, oh yeah, I remember
I
those
grew up
days.
farming. I can
Yeah.
huck a pumpkin so far. You watch how far I can huck this pumpkin.
People were expecting maybe Roderick Strong to like make an appearance during this match and swerve
It'd
the
be great
swerve
if
of
he could do
swerves.
something.
It would be nice instead of
So much
playing,
talent just sitting there.
literally just lying in a hospital bed somewhere. Anyway, it was a really good match, a really fun match. I think both men stood out. Julius Creed has continued to impress not just
Yeah.
me, but a lot of other people as just an entertainer, as a wrestler. Uh, he's good as a single star. He's good as a tag team wrestler. I'm personally looking forward to the possibility of doing the Stevensons versus the Creeds.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
I
that'd
think
be good if Gable is actually good at this, which we
that's the
do not
question.
have any idea about yet. Like none whatsoever. We've seen him kind of stand meekly on a stage a couple times. Like that's it.
I'm sure, Dan, I'm not the only I know other people did it, but I definitely did tweet that as well
Yeah, for sure.
last night during the show. So good, great match. The ambulance match lived up to it, and both men just looked good, regardless of who won, which Julius Creed won. So the Creed brothers remain intact in NXT.
Yeah.
Ladder match opened the show. That was a stunt fest of a stunt fest. I
Yeah.
read a stat, Tim, that the North American Championship had been defended, what was it, something like five
times, yeah.
4 of which, when the championship was vacated, were ladder matches, including the first time, the inaugural NXT North American Championship match. Listen, Shawn Michaels said in his post-match interview, or his post-match scrum, he was like, I have a propensity for ladder matches, so I can't be upset at it. The match itself was insane.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good match. Like, it was funny, as someone pointed out. I think it was Vic Joseph, because I don't know what Booker T is doing at all.
He doesn't either, by the way.
He doesn't. He's just mumbling there. Sometimes he'll just start talking about stuff that has nothing to do with anything. And
so let me, before you continue, I'll give you my Booker T kind of analysis and hot take when it comes to him being on NXT. So they brought him in as part of like the reset for all the announced teams. So Raw, SmackDown, and NXT got resets. I think they brought in Booker T because they were getting frustrated with him talking shit about talent on his podcast.
Which I was about to say, like, I'm more intrigued by him and his terrible takes, because at least that's like interesting. Whereas this is like mumbly Booker T who's just talking, and then like, oh, Druids are scary though. It's like,
but because he has such a long contract with WWE, they were like, well, we'd rather him in the tent pissing out than outside pissing in the tent. So they brought him in and said, hey, take a commentary gig and shut your mouth. He still does his podcast gig, but now I wouldn't be surprised if they were like, can you tone it down on talking shit about our talent? Because like you don't know how things work here anymore, but now you will.
He's an odd duck, man, because it's just like, just the whole time he was the coffin match was like the worst because of it, because all he kept saying was, "It's a must win for Apollo Creed," and it's like, okay,
it was not good. Period. That match
just yeah, none of that was good. I missed all of the build. Well, quickly, I dive into that, I guess. Did Grayson?
Do we have to?
No, I'm just gonna say something about Apollo Creed's kids. What was that about?
Apollo Crews.
Apollo Creed's the Rocky guy. See, this is how much I'm following. Apollo Crews, does he have ugly kids or something? What's the what was the build about his kids? I don't know.
No, he talked about having kids, and now he's no longer a Nigerian prince who turns on his accent. He is just Apollo Crews who can see into the future. There's been no development on his character.
So much the actual skill just like squandered with him again. Like,
so here's the thing. Like, I am a true believer that every wrestling character needs a characteristic. Like, they need something about them that changes them in general. Is it Apollo Crews or Apollo Creed? But anyway, Apollo Crews, we never knew what the character was.
No.
And like, guy who's a good wrestler can only go so far, and be attributed to so many people. Like, we talked about that. It was the same thing with Josh Alexander in Impact Wrestling. Great wrestler. Other than like, I love Impact and I love my wife and kids, so here they are at every defense I have. What is Josh Alexander?
Yeah.
So stuff like that I want more of in my wrestling. I want more storytelling. This Apollo Creed character, though, is just, to me, a bridge too far. It's not great.
Yeah, like, I don't know. That match sucked.
It was not good. And just bringing out a bigger casket and then set it on fire. Come on, you set everything on fire. That's the whole point.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, ladder match. Much better match. Very good. So many spots. Von Wagner still looks like a dumpster. Very funny to me. He's now got cornrows, which is hilarious. He nearly knocked out that lady who was like putting herself a bit more into the ring area than she should have been. That's mostly on her.
Yeah,
but, like, it was funny. She did good averting that very slow moving ladder. Someone made some stink about that on Twitter, and I watched it back, and I was like, that was kind of a nothing burger.
Yeah, they didn't get knocked out with it. They kind of like,
was moving so slowly,
moving her neck back as he wrenched it backwards himself. He knew what he was doing. He was just kind of like,
he was aware she was there, and I mean, he would have if she wasn't like. Speaking of which, man, Orlando, so sick of these crowds.
You're sick of
it. Just ruins everything.
They were actually okay last night, in my opinion. I
don't like that it's constantly 50-50 and so noticeable and audible.
Yeah,
like, I want some, like, just cheer for the faces. Like, you're a part of the TV show and you're in a small audience. Like, if it was bigger, no big deal. But like, it's because it's so small, and because the people attending are like, you got 50 people who dress like, or 50% of the people in there are dressing as the Joker for Halloween. So it's just like they're cheering all of the heels, and it's just like,
Well, now they think they're dressing like Liv Morgan. We'll talk about that later.
Oh, man.
In the ladder match, yeah, one of the biggest problems that NXT and the crowd definitely has is the fact that they are quick to turn on talent because it's the only talent. Like they see the same people every week and nothing changes,
Yeah,
so things get more stagnant to them much quicker. Like Braun Breaker, soon they're going to start really turning hard on him if they're not careful with Braun Breaker.
but he's so fun.
He is fun, but we'll
His
talk
his
about the main
shtick
event
has not
soon.
gotten old to me, right? Like I'm happy to see the Steiners like
You want a friend? Get a dog. Anyway, ladder match.
yeah, ladder match.
Ladder match.
Ladder
We'll get
match.
back to
My
this.
God, we got to get
Uh,
into it. Wes Lee inaugurated as the North American champion.
I've been saying it since they had him. It was like September something. I said he's winning this championship.
Yeah,
When they got to because of the Carmelo Hayes, getting closer to dropping the title, I was like, Wesley is going to be the next champion. This is the
yeah,
story they've been telling. It made perfect sense. Didn't make sense to swerve you with somebody else because no one else in that match needed the championship yet like Wes Lee does. It worked for me. Von Wagner put on the best performance of his
very good.
entire
Yeah,
career
yeah,
so
yeah.
far. Uh, he was the big guy in the match who was there to swat the flies away, and
Yep,
he did a great job, tremendous job with it.
totally.
Other than that, I'm just thinking who else, like Oro Mensa definitely stood out
So
as top
his
tier.
name's Menza. This guy's new to me too. I haven't seen him.
Oro Mensa is the former
Oro Menza.
Oliver Carter from NXT UK. Most people don't know him.
Okay.
Ashton Smith, I should say, and Carter. They were NXT UK Tag Champions, and then one of them got injured, so they had to give up the titles. That's when Briggs and Jensen won the NXT UK Tag titles for some reason.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
what led to that. And then NXT
Chaos.
UK shut down for the time being. So Oro Menza got repackaged as Oro Menza and then brought over to NXT in Florida. And again, I think it's been a standout so far for him. Nathan Fraser continues to absolutely
Yeah. I mean,
kill
yeah,
it. So
yeah,
yeah, he's going to keep doing it. I would love to see Fraser and Wesley in a best of 5 down the line. He just
yeah.
Nathan Fraser just did a best of 3 with A Kid, who is now Axiom. So I'm okay with
You
waiting
know
for
what?
Wesley.
Like Axiom's a lazy name, but it's better than A Kid, so I'm fine with that.
Marvel movies.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a really solid match. And like you said, just spot after spot after spot, just stunts all around. And it's good to see Wesley get some shot. This is like a make good for all of the, like, sorry, we derailed your entire thing for no good reason. Oh,
There's a
sorry, there was some reason, but anyway.
Well, no, so
Yeah,
we
I'm
won't
not
get
upset
into the
on it.
background, but the
Yeah.
point is, all of his friends were so stoked for him too, and I
Yeah.
loved Wesley doing the Meteora off the ladder, and that
Mm,
was a shout out to his buddy Trey Miguel because they were the Rascals in Impact and in various other places. There was a lot of just call outs to his friends, and I
yeah.
like that. Wesley deserves it. Again, another guy that Shawn Michaels is very high on, very
Well,
clearly.
I saw a backstage thing with Shawn Michaels hugging him. Shawn Michaels, who needs to just give up on the hair, join the club, bud.
Oh,
Um,
he talked about that on the
he
post match.
did.
He's
Good,
like,
good,
I did
good.
a lot of things wrong back in the day, and that's why I think I'm going bald.
It's, I mean, going is it's gone, brother. Like, just
True.
give up.
He did the head shave for a while when he did a
Yeah,
crown jewel
he
match in
should just leave
2018, I
it.
think.
Yeah, yeah, just do it. He's got a good shaped head. He's fine. Go back to that.
Yeah.
He looks like a weird clown right now with his like balled up kind of matting.
Yeah, I think he's like, I want to look professional, but I don't want to do. I think the bald head is just a weird look for him. It's just not. I don't know.
I don't know. Wear the
Doesn't
hat,
click.
bald head hat. Just get rid of that weird like poofy long hair.
Okay, you do
Anyway.
the bald head, but then you put a wig under a hat.
Do it. Go for it. That's fine.
That's how
That'll
you
look
do it.
better than what he's doing now. Lots of people wear wigs. It's all good. No shame, brother.
And the triple threat main event, they did Braun Breaker and Ilya Dragunov and JD. Don't Google me.
Yeah, hilarious.
I
Good,
have
good.
nothing. I really
Good
don't have
discussion.
anything to say about Jordan Devlin other than just get him off my TV. And
No,
it's
yeah,
not.
he's a dork. He's a square-headed piece of crap. He's a good
Yeah,
wrestler, but
there's just not.
it's not
But
enough
that's
to
it.
make up for it. Like there's no character there other than British, kind of Irish. I don't care.
Irish. I am Finn Balor's younger brother, who's
Yeah,
not really
basically
Finn
he's
Balor's younger
lesser
brother.
Finn Balor with fewer abs. I don't
Yeah, he's
care.
fraud Balor.
Yeah.
I don't really. I just also he got called out. He's a piece of shit human being. I don't care about this guy, and
Yeah.
just useless. That being said, the match was great. People were way behind Ilya Dragunov, which I get it.
Mm.
And part of me was like, are you behind him because you think he's good, or because you saw the one Walter match? Like
I mean, he's
what did
very
it?
good.
He's very good. He's
His
not the best
entrance
promo.
package is a bit bland. I don't
Yeah.
mind his promos. He's quirky in the promo. Like he's
Yes.
odd, which I think
Yes.
at least it's novel. Like I'll give him that.
So his whole thing was he's Russian.
Yeah.
And I think there's a big kind of like wait and see approach to him right now. Last night, Vic Joseph called his finish the Torpedo Moscow, which is what it's called. But
Yeah.
for weeks before this, they were just calling it Torpedo.
Mm.
But I think they're trying to figure out like, what do we do? This guy's he's Russian, and
I mean,
Russia's kind of
Russian
persona non
people
grata
don't
right now.
cease to exist despite their government's actions. Like, I find
I
that a bit
agree.
silly. Like, you can't,
It's
like,
still perception of the
yeah,
greater, the greater world. So you're kind of
yeah.
stuck with like, this guy's Russian, all Russians are evil, and we know that's not true.
No, it's
So
just
we're stuck with this like he speaks for Russians, and if he does, then guess what? He's gonna have to say something in a politicized promo, which nobody
they
wants
don't
to
want to
happen.
touch. They definitely don't want to touch that. Like,
Exactly. So he's in this weird spot where like he's so good, and you know what really sucks more than anything about Ilya Dragunov? We can't do our Ivan Dragon Russian oligarch on the main
oh
roster thing
yeah, because he
because
might fall
that's
down
gone.
a flight of stairs or get thrown out of a window. Sorry,
That's
fall out of a window,
Fallout.
or commit a murder suicide, as they did 2 in a row like that, which was like, oh
And like I could see him on the main roster. I don't know what they're going to
yeah.
do with him, but he's clearly impressed not just fans but also people of importance in WWE. So why not? Either way,
Just add him
great
to
match.
Imperium and say he's from like a former Soviet state. Like,
Could you imagine? Oh my God,
yeah.
Imperium grows one more. I'm
Oh my
fine with
god.
that.
Everyone's gonna have a 4-person stable, man. We'll get to that.
Braun Breaker wins, retains his NXT championship. No Austin Theory cash in this past week. I don't know if you saw it, probably not. Austin Theory showed up on NXT with his briefcase, held it up, and said, "Hey, this could happen." I'm fine with Austin Theory cashing in on the NXT championship.
Yeah,
I'd
go for
rather
it.
that.
His second time back down. Poor
Don't care.
bastard.
Take it. I
Yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah,
care.
yeah, totally.
He's a kid. He's still figuring this shit out. So I would rather he run that brand and do all the media, just do everything. Teach
Yeah.
him all the skills that are external to wrestling and character building that get him up that to the next echelon to move to being a believable champion in WWE on the main roster. I think
Yeah,
that's really what we're going for with him.
definitely.
So
Yeah, I really liked Breaker's entrance where he continues to break things. The shovel was a nice. He really gave it some wallop. I enjoyed that.
he did. He went nuts. It was kind of funny, actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was Halloween Havoc. Turned out to be a very mixed show in terms
Yeah,
of.
it had some like really high highs and like, man, I'm sorry, the Shotzi host is not good.
I didn't mind that. I didn't mind.
I
They only did
couldn't
2
stand it.
segments with her.
2
It was fine.
segments, which was not, but it's also like just not. Comes out looking kind of like Beetlejuice. Lash Legend is involved, which brings everything down. So,
You're not a big
and like
fan
I
of Lash
still
Legend.
didn't get. I haven't seen what what's his name? Clancy.
Quincy Elliott.
Quincy Elliott. I still haven't really seen what he's doing, and I didn't get the chance to see what he's doing because he was cut off most of the time. Like,
Yeah, it should have been Shine for Quincy having
yeah,
Shotzi come
like
back,
this
but
should have
then
been
they
a passing of
decided.
the torch so that Shotzi does it this time, so Quincy does it next time, and we don't see
Yeah.
Shotzi next time because she's on the main roster, but I guess she's not. Now she's fighting Lash Legend.
But then we got Shotzi doing Lash Legend, on Tuesday. So they're just existing.
Yeah,
It is
I
what
don't
it is.
know. It's not my favorite.
That's fine. Other than that, the show was, I don't know, again, it's a 50-50. That was really how I felt, and I was tired and not feeling great personally. So I was like, I got through the show, I got through the post call, and I was like, all right, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
And this morning I was like, okay, show was fine in certain aspects, and then on
Yeah,
other
it's some
ones
pretty
I
good
was like,
stuff. Like 3-4 really solid matches. Like,
exactly. Where to next? You want to go to AEW and then come back for Raw and
yeah,
SmackDown
yeah.
talk?
Let's go back to Wednesday because
We
we
got a
ain't
lot to talk
talking
about.
Friday.
Oh, we're gonna have to talk about the CM Punk stuff soon. So let's just
We did put it in the
tackle it all.
thumbnail.
It
Yeah.
is. So Dynamite. Where do you want to start? You want to start with that promo with MJF and William Regal?
Yeah,
Might as well just
yeah,
start
yeah.
hot.
It's fun. It's fun. More screaming.
So while I was watching it, I was of 2 minds. One, MJF was like really good. The
Yeah.
delivery was really good. On the other hand, I'm kind of sick of MJF using the "I tried, you pushed me away." It's just like I'm baby facing myself, even though I'm very clearly a heel. Like I feel like this whole thing ends with him doubling back, cheating his way through whatever it is to win the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And they've been doing that story a bunch already.
Yeah, because they did this stuff with Punk too, right? Like, and it's just, I don't know. Like, I don't want to see a babyface MJF as much as they're teasing. I don't want to see that. I don't care. I think he's better as a heel.
I think it's going to be one of those things where at Full Gear, he's going to come out, he's going to babyface everyone, and then when he eventually or inevitably does something heelish to win the title, when he cheats to win and he's hugging Stokely in the firm and he's got the title and blah blah blah, and people are booing him, they're gonna then like it'll be like, oh, like it'll be that moment. That's the reaction. Like we knew it was coming.
Exactly. Like it's I don't know. It's a bit too predictable. Like, and I don't know. Like, also, you're still young as hell. Like, I don't care that William Regal stopped answering your emails.
And clearly you've done well for yourself. Like, it's one of those things. There's a larger conversation. Okay, he wants to go to WWE, like the free agency 2024, whatever. I get it. He did the same thing with Punk, where he was like, hey, you let me down when you walked out of WWE, and now he's doing this with Regal. You let me down by ignoring me after my tryouts and sending you matches.
Yeah, insert the statement like little Jew boy. Like, he's just like, he just keeps mentioning like this stuff, and it's like, okay, yeah, but we already visited this, and it's good that you're adding some complexity to your character, but like, I think you're better served staying as this extremely bitter person rather than like this redeemed guy. And I don't get the like back and forth tweener promos. Like, it's just kind of giving me a bit of whiplash with it. I'm not following so much because, like, as much as like he'll do like some babyface stuff, I still think he's kind of an asshole. Like, because he's good at being an asshole, and he has been more an asshole than anything else. So just lean into that. And like, you're wrestling Mox, like,
and he's extremely over right now, especially given everything that's happened over the last 2 months. It's strange. I'm excited for the match, and I'm excited for what's going to happen with MJF and Moxley, and MJF potentially winning the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. But who knows? It's just a weird build right now for MJF.
Yeah, and it's nice because it does have like these really nice moments, like that Regal MJF thing where like the crowd were kind of all over the place. I thought that was really interesting.
Oh, I loved the way that they got behind MJF, and then Regal brought them right back to his side. Stuff like that.
Good. That push and pull. Very exciting. Yeah.
That's just a masterclass in like knowing how to command and control your audience. I give them full marks for that.
Yeah.
Again, the content of MJF's promo, don't really love it. Don't really need it.
Yeah, like it's weird. Like it feels so strange because we're building to this match where there's no real personal animosity. It's just dangling the chip. They're adding it, but the animosity is with Regal. It's not with Mox. Regal's not wrestling. Like, it's weird and chaotic. And then the unfortunate finish where they scramble to do the Full Gear announcement, and there's mic problems, and it's just like, I don't know how to feel. I'm being thrown every which way.
So let's talk about that main event.
Yeah.
Mox and Hangman come out. I loved Hangman going to meet Mox in the crowd to start the fight.
Yep.
Love
really
that. And Mox
banging start. Like,
yeah, they did so much in the opening. Could not say a bad word about that start. And then unfortunately, as we got back to the ring and started the match, really, as it started cooking, they do the King Kong lair, and then Hangman, does the flip bump, and however he landed, he knocked himself out. Unfortunately, they had to stop the match, and they had to take him out on a bodyboard, on a stretcher. Mox cuts a promo. Everyone's very clearly shaken, which is totally understandable.
Yeah, like Taz comes because it came back. It was like picture in picture. It happened, and then they come back and like match is over. It's like, okay.
Yeah, I was watching
really
on Fight TV, on Fight Plus or AEW Plus.
So you had
I didn't have the picture in picture. I was just watching the match, and I was like, "Whoa, okay, like what's happening?" And it sucked. And the good news is Hangman is okay. It was a concussion, which, all things considered, that is the best possible outcome for a scenario like this. And I think many people have knocked that into the ground, so we don't need to. And again, Mox cuts a promo after the match, which, they just gave him a mic and said, you can move along, say some things, and then get to the MJF stuff. Good promo. Again, Mox can command a room. Everyone was listening to him, and it was his hometown too, so it all worked out. MJF comes out. He does the tease of cashing in the chip. And I like that he brings out the referee, brings out Bryce, and Bryce is like trying to put on his gloves because of the blood on Moxley.
Yeah.
And they tease it, and then he gives the chip to Regal, does MJF, and he's like, "I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do it at full gear." And I like that. I'm fine with that. That's a good match to do. That's a great hot match to do at full gear. Mox and MJF is going to be entertaining as hell. We've done it before during the pandemic, but now we're going to do it live with human beings in the arena. All good. That's great.
No issues.
You want to go to New Jersey?
No.
And me neither. I don't know. Although it's easier to get to because Porter flies like from the island straight to near the venue. So overall, it sucked that we got to do Hangman and Mox again. Like Hangman's redemption has to come from somewhere, or the beginning of it. It sucks that what happened, but I think there's room to bring him back and then write him back into this whole thing. However they do it, I'm still interested in what happens when the Elite come back, because that's a whole other can of worms. Who
knows? Yeah,
Kenny in the main event scene would be fun.
That would be fun. There's again, depending on who his opponent is. Again, like I don't want to see just the same kind of stuff.
Yeah, we are on Sundays, at least right now, at noon Eastern. Keep your eyes peeled. We're working on the overbooked schedule. So Sundays at noon Eastern for right now. Who knows when that changes? Could be tomorrow. I don't know. Let's talk about
doing another show tomorrow.
No, we're not doing another show. Someone else. Hikaru Shida and Tony Storm for the interim women's championship.
Storm.
Shid Storm, as I'd call it.
No, it was Shid Storm. Now it's Shid versus Storm.
Yeah. Yes. I like
the Shid hit the fan and create anyway.
No, the Storm hit the Shid.
Yeah.
Anyway, good match. I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah, same. I was like, this is the first time I've seen Tony do a one-on-one that I've like enjoyed a lot. Like before, it was kind of like plotting. This one I enjoyed. I liked it. I thought they had a lot of chemistry.
Yeah, they use the history. Shida having an axe to grind with losing her women's championship during the pandemic, or just as the pandemic was as ending. That was good. Storm, listen, I have this feeling that she won't be the interim champion for the entirety of Thunder Rosa's
absence. Yeah, I get the same vibe.
I would like to see them switch up that interim championship. And it's not because I don't like Tony Storm. It's because I just like to see what happens when they throw that wrench into the gear.
Yeah.
I think it'd be real fun. And then, of course, afterwards, they have Saraya and then Britt and Rebel. And I don't know. How do you feel about Saraya and Britt basically taking over the women's spotlight after a title match?
Saraya sure is changing a lot, eh? It's changed a bunch. Very, very much keeping Britt the focus, even though,
Is there a long-term play here, or do you think it's just Saraya's here and she's going to bring eyes to the women by wrestling for the first time in like 7 years?
No, there's no ideas. There's no plan. It's going to be the same AEW women's division it's been for 2 years, 3 years. Like, there's just not that much happening. Taz even said Saraya, like,
and then the rest of the commentary team jumps on him.
He's like, no, it's Saraya.
Yeah, there's that. I don't know. It's weird. And then on Rampage, they did the Willow had a match with Layla Gray that was long and not great. And then afterwards, they do Tony Schiavone in the ring. And Tony's like, Willow, you get the graphic. And everyone's excited. And that's great. People love Willow. I understand it. She's a great wrestler. She's a great human being by all accounts. Very infectious as a character and as a person. So great. Good for her. Really happy to see it. Doing it after that match was one thing. And then Jade comes out. And Jade Cargill does like I'm not leaving until I get my TBS championship.
I'm going to hold your show hostage. Give me my stuff.
And what's funny is that, Jade comes down and Willow's like, oh no, I don't want any of this. And I'm like, this is the moment that you can stand up to Jade and be like, I just got signed. I got nothing to lose. Like, I'm here now. But whatever. She walks away. I'm assuming they're going to do Jade and Willow again at one point where Willow gets the win, but not for a while if I have to put my money down. So they go to the back and they're doing the Nyla stole the title thing. And listen, comedy, it's gold. It's funny. I hate that it's after a title, but I have an idea.
Oh, okay. You can salvage this weird kind of played out idea.
I think I can. I think I can. reading that book to my child now. I think I can. Anyway, so eventually Jade's going to have to get one up on Nyla.
Hmm.
Nyla has been just all fun and games and joking around and messing around. Jade's gonna have to do something pretty diabolical. Like she's gonna have to beat up Vicky Guerrero or something and leave her bloody.
Someone
And
has to.
oh yeah, exactly. And that's her best friend, her mentor. That's gonna bring back the native beast, and that's gonna make it Jade's biggest challenge yet, both physically and like just as a challenge. Is gonna be physically her biggest one, emotionally her biggest one, whatever it is. You know, you awoken the beast. You've made this a personal affair. Jade and Nyla at the next pay-per-view doing that in New Jersey, that works for me as long as the story is we're gonna fight, we're gonna mess each other up because you went too far. You know, this was all fun and games until you did this. And I could do that. Like I could be behind that story.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that working. Like, I don't know. You just need to give Jade some emotional anything because right now it's all just like very stiff, and like she's got the baddies and they're not doing anything. No one's doing anything.
I think the losing Red Velvet kind of messed up some stuff,
Yeah.
and then adding Layla Gray, and then they did the Stokely thing, and Stokely got bounced around a bunch. I think that kind of messed up the whole
Yeah,
Jade
he just
story.
disappeared again. Like I hate this dropping the thread stuff where like they'll introduce things and then it just never gets explained. Stokely's just on to something else, and it's just like okay.
Yeah, it's very strange, but that's kind of how I would revive the Jade and Nyla TBS Championship match. Other than just like, oh, I have your title, ha ha ha, come and get it, lol 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 lol. Like, give me something better. Give me a little story
Yeah,
that's
start a
not just
few like
jokey.
just yeah, right now you're poking the bear, awaken like Jade, have her just do something very, very violent and then make it personal from there. It's not
Fine
a bad
by me.
idea. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. So that's basically the AEW stuff. So let's the real meat of the situation is this week. A lot of talk about CM Punk. A lot of talk about the Ace Steel officially has his AEW release. That was kind of dropped very casually by Dave Meltzer during
Yeah.
his late night Dynamite report. It was like I was like up at 5 a.m. and I just scrolled my Twitter and I found someone who had transcribed everything, and it was just a random tweet like Dave Meltzer says, and it's like again, it's 5 a.m. I'm like, what the anyway? It's like that's the most movement we've seen on this front in a long time.
Yep.
So now the talk is that Punk might be headed for a buyout.
Oh, what a surprise.
No surprise. I
No.
get it. I'm fine
It's
with it. The guy has been a ratings draw for AEW and again, I'm not going to talk like, oh, he should have been bringing in the 2 million viewers. That's not what this
no,
is.
no, no, no.
The point is, if you look at AEW's ratings week after week, year over year, Punk was consistently drawing a larger rating for people. They were coming in. He has a huge fan base, a very popular fan base who follow him everywhere. I think he's the best.
Yeah.
Merch money through the roof.
Yeah.
The guy is a proven commodity, draw, whatever. You can think the way you want about him. I have my thoughts. We've talked about them. And now the big conversation has shifted to if and when he finishes a non-compete clause, could he wind up back in WWE?
No.
Why
I
do
don't
you
think
say
so.
no?
Because I think it would be after seeing him act like that, like I don't know how anyone is taking his side in this. It's incredibly unprofessional, very rude, like childish as all hell. Like he's not a professional. Like I would never hire him no matter how much. Like there's too much. It's too caustic. Like the risk you're taking on that is too high. Like
Welcome to the wrestling world where this happens
yeah.
all the time. Vampiro just won a damn championship for the shittiest recreated version of a company I'm not going to mention. My
Yeah.
point is, shitty people get gigs all the time,
No,
and
no
shitty
kidding. Like
people are paid for their job.
this is a specific industry that seems to celebrate like dirt bags. So I
Right.
don't know. I think it's foolish. I don't think it would be like a good use of money because like he clearly is injury prone at this point. Like if nothing else, like I just don't think his body's letting him do this.
Honestly, you know what you do? You don't bring him in as a full time. You bring him in on the Brock deal.
Yeah, send him to Saudi. There you go.
Honestly, but here's the thing.
That pays for itself then.
Money
Like,
talks, and that's exactly what it is. And I know
yep.
that like Punk has made these like sucka blood soaked stick in Saudi Arabia or whatever to the Miz. Guess what? Carl Anderson said never again. And guess what Carl Anderson's doing in about 2 weeks?
Yeah. Like that's the thing. Punk can say all that stuff, but I don't know, man. After seeing a man act like that, I don't think he has all that much integrity. I think he'd go back on his thing for a big payday. So
I think I
don't respect or admire CM Punk really. Like, no offense.
No, but there
like
are
I just don't see.
Him.
Yeah, I doesn't do it for me. He never has. Like, I stopped watching wrestling when he was on the up, and I just didn't get his in ring. I finally you showed me the pipe bomb, and that one promo was very good.
Yeah, and he coasted ever since. No,
and that's honestly because I never thought he was very good in ring. I really didn't. Like, I did not like his GTS. He always seemed to slop it up, which was his finisher. And like pedigree from a I didn't get the names for things. I was like, oh, because you have a tattoo. Okay, cool. And it was straight edge at the time. And I was a teenager, and I was very much not about that. No problem with being straight edge. I'm probably closer to that now than anything. But like when I was a teenager, that was not working. I was like, oh, screw this dork.
Yeah, there's that. With Punk going back to WWE, I think honestly, Triple H is more than willing to put bygones, let bygones be bygones and water under the bridge and so on and so forth to do business. Because if there's one thing that Punk can do, it's bring a large fan base into WWE that like, let Punk go out and say some shit and be like, yeah, I'm back. I don't want to be here. Let him do that anti WWE, but I'm here to cleanse the palate of the wrestling fan with some good wrestling, whatever the hell.
I feel bad for Cody and all that. If that happens, that's what he's like. I got away. Oh.
Cody's gonna be like, I followed me here.
this son of a bitch. Yeah,
I can see it working out for a short-term deal. I can see it becoming, let's get your last big matches out of the way, get your last the last things you need, just get it and get a lot of money for it. Again, don't put him on a full-time deal where he shows up every week. I think that's a waste of time. But there's absolutely money still in CM Punk, regardless of how you feel about him. I think he handled himself friggin' poorly.
Horribly. Like,
awful.
Like, there's no justification. Like, what a baby. Like, it was just okay. Like, it's nothing bad has really happened to you baby. like just taking everything as this deeply personal insult. It's like, man,
imagine a world where you do Roman versus The Rock at WrestleMania, and then WrestleMania ends with The Rock having beaten Roman, and out comes CM Punk.
That sounds so bad.
Just to pick up where they left off, like 2014. So it'll be almost 10 years ago at that point. I don't love it, but like just the idea of doing it. That's a very Vince McMahon style thought. Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen, but again, it comes down to so many factors. We don't know for sure that Punk's going to be bought out. We don't know what it looks like, how long a non-compete would look. Listen, TK could easily make the deal, be like, we're going to pay you out, but your non-compete is going to be half of whatever's left on your contract, however long that was. Yeah. There's a business there with Punk. Make him an independent contractor. Do not put him in a media scrum environment again. And again, this is what's hilarious is that when he was in WWE, he complained that like he was never asked to do media. Well, we just found out why.
Yeah, here's the problem is you can't control him now because social media, right? Like he's just going to set up his own media scrum and throw a hissy fit over nothing. Like,
and at that point, you pull him back.
Yeah. It's
the best you can do because if he does have some sort of official employee status with AEW, which has been alluded to by several people, then there's a bigger conversation at hand about severance and the do's and don'ts of what he did. And then if he comes back to WWE, guess what? He's an independent contractor. He's going to be just like Cody would be, just like The Miz would be. He'd be just one of the boys, and maybe he loves that, or maybe he doesn't. But I think that there's money in a CM Punk return on a short term, just a short term like last run.
Here's hoping. I don't want to see it.
I don't care either way. But Punk versus Roman, I don't know. Could be entertaining. Punk versus Roman with all the hindsight of the past, where like he talked so much shit about Roman Reigns in that podcast with Colt Cabana. He had so much shit to say to Roman. If those two can put that stuff aside and make money in a big time match, I'm not against it. Doesn't have to be for a title. I don't care. It can just be a grudge match. Like CM Punk confronts all of his demons. CM Punk confronts all of his haters.
Oh my God. It'd just be him standing in a ring, getting his ass beat one after the other. Just have them all line up. The slaps, right? Like the Simpsons bit.
Brock Lesnar first, though, right?
Yeah. Let him.
Bobby Lashley. Think about that. Did you watch that segment from Raw? Bobby and Brock?
I had actually already seen it. I watched it. I rewatched it. It's very violent.
Good. Wasn't it fun?
It was funny to see all of the people who haven't been on TV out there trying to stop Bobby for some reason. Yeah. I was like, oh, there's Akira Tozawa, still dressed like a ninja.
Was he still? I didn't notice him.
I
saw like Johnny Gargano out there and stuff.
Yeah, I think like, Shelton Benjamin was there too.
He was, and I was like, why is Shelton Benjamin trying to keep Bobby back when he's like Brock Lesnar's best friend from college?
It's very confusing.
There was some interesting stuff.
The violence itself was good, but yeah, all of those people there was very odd.
They did your favorite. They did the barricade spot.
It was a little high angle. It looked like it might have actually hurt a little bit, so I didn't mind it because Brock like took it right in the upper butt.
The tight end day. The table spot, the announce table spot. That looked like it hurt. Brock afterwards, there were multiple angles that they showed, I think on TV and then on socials. And like Brock looked like he was like, that sucked. He just winced in pain. Looked like he took it right to the back. Yeah,
it's good. It's great. It was very, very exciting.
What do you think, Brock and Bobby in Saudi? That's happening. Is it
it's a Saudi match? It's a
Goldberg match.
Yeah, it's the Goldberg spot.
It's fine by me. Brock gets his win back against Bobby. Yeah. And also Brock needs to, well, not his win back, but Brock needs to win again. They need to build him back up for whatever he's going to do at Mania. What do you do with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania at this point?
I don't know. I don't have a place for Brock Lesnar, but I also don't have a place for part-timers in my world. So I don't know.
That's fair. But again, like they got to fit him in somewhere. You got WrestleMania. There's, I don't know. You could
give him Omos, have a terrible match.
I'm kind of for it. Dude, Brock and Braun again.
Yeah, that would be fine and boring. Like
Brock versus the Monsters. Brock and Otis. There it is. Actually, Brock likes working younger guys, or not younger, smaller guys, because he gets to throw them around. They have more
around, be a big man.
More competitive matches like that.
Brock versus Ray.
Actually, I've seen that and it was really good. I would love to see Brock versus Ray again, but we're going to see Ray versus Gunther next week. I'm excited for that Intercontinental Championship match. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
They're doing SmackDown on FS1, which doesn't matter to us because we're Canadian. They're taping 2 weeks of SmackDown too.
Is that better or worse? I don't understand what FS1 is.
It's worse.
Okay, got it.
It's not
like it's like the Sci-Fi Network type thing, eh?
Kind of, yeah, because Fox is the what's the word? Not cable, but the other one, network television.
Yeah.
So like
this is like a pay
everywhere.
Channel.
Yeah. FS1 is a pay channel. That's the best way to put it. So they're going to be on FS1. They're pulling out everyone. Like Roman's going to be on the show. Ronda Rousey's doing an open challenge. They're going to have.
No, she's not. They're okay. So based off of the promo she cut, that open challenge is not going to happen. She's going to go down to the ring. She's going to tease an open challenge. She's like, nah, you don't deserve it. And then she's going to walk away. And that's going to be all you see of Ronda next week.
I mean, there's talk about doing Ronda versus Shayna, not Sonya, Shayna program. I'd be fine with that.
Okay, it might kick off here. I don't think he's going to have a match. There will be no open challenge.
It would kick off, but it wouldn't. Or it's going to be someone comes out and gets the shit kicked out of him, and that's it. Like Xia Li comes out because she made it to the ring first, and then they're like, "Bye, Xia," and that's it. Or Shotzi gets the win over Lash Legend. So guess what Shotzi does on Friday night?
Oh my!
Gets the shit kicked out of her by Ronda Rousey once again.
Oh, that sounds awful.
I see the chat saying that Brock versus Braun Breaker. That would be a fun match. I would like to see that. If you can bring up Braun. So someone was saying in the chat as well, like put him against whoever. Oh, Mod Mike was saying whoever Brock eliminates or eliminates Brock from the Rumble, let them start a program together. And that's fine.
Good
and if it's Braun Breaker who does it, cool. Let's do it. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So that's Ronda. So then we talked about Brock and Bobby. So let's focus on SmackDown, I guess, because a lot of stuff happened.
Yeah.
How annoying is Logan Paul now?
There's just something about him. Like his words are fine, but it's just like you're so distasteful as a human being, and I don't know what it is. Like I just do not. You're just awful. Like
I don't know what that promo was where he calls everyone dummies. Yeah, sorry, that's the other guy.
Yeah.
And then he just he berates the crowd. It's his hometown, by the way. Like I think it's because he's in Ohio. I think
He's from Toledo, Ohio.
I think he's from Cleveland or something.
Okay,
But the point
yeah,
is, like Logan Paul, like they're from Ohio, and he thought he would get this huge pop, and instead I was like, oh, they're booing him, and he's like, I need to address the hard cam, but first let me address my fans here at home, and I'm like, that's really weird inside baseball, like fourth wall breaking bullshit.
He's a strange boy. I don't
He
really.
is.
He's like, I excel in every industry, and he's been saying the exact same thing every time. So it's like, this is one, you haven't explored that many industries. Your industries consist of being annoying for children on the internet, which has gotten you all of this money, which is fine, whatever. Boxing, in what is of questionable integrity, like for a garbage company. And yeah, cool, you didn't get knocked out by the now aging non-heavyweight boxer. Like,
yeah,
like, you know, like he knocked people out, he did back in the day, but it's been a while. Like, and he's quite a bit older, and he's more of a points boxer than anything. And now you're wrestling, and that's it. That's all of the industries you've conquered, as far as I know. Oh, you sell merch, which is just, it goes hand in hand with being annoying on the internet for children. Like, that is
you gotta sell merch now. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, that's how you make money. Like,
I watched a video. It was a Mr. Beast video, and it was like, we drove this McLaren to a McDonald's, and all these kids were like, I want to be in Mr. Beast videos, and they were all wearing Mr. Beast stuff. I'm like,
yeah.
You know what? The guy's got millions upon millions of subscribers. Fine, he's running a business that doesn't suck, so that also helps. But my point is, Logan Paul, he knows how to hit it on the head every time. Like I'm a social media megastar. I did this, I did that.
Every beat was hit in time, but it's not doing anything for me. And
we're supposed to be cheering him. Like that was right. He's supposed to be the good guy
going
up against Roman Reigns, but
there's so much of that going on in wrestling right now, both in AEW and WWE, where it's just like, who do you want me to cheer for? Like, I'm not necessarily going to do it, but like, pick one. Like, everyone's a tweener right now, and it's driving me nuts. Like, these are supposed to be stupid soap operas. I prefer them that way, because if they try to add nuance, it does not work, because it's not that, they're not that clever. Like, they're just not that smart to write it well. So,
there is room for nuance, but like you said, it needs to be cleverly done. The Bray Wyatt stuff, for example, this is a cult leader who is struggling with himself right now. The promo that he cut on SmackDown, what do you think of that?
I thought the promo itself would have been okay if it wasn't completely undermined by playing that song underneath it, which weird from a tone. Like, it's just, they don't do that all the time. So it was weird, like, just from a format perspective. Like, your structure doesn't normally have this, and like, it has vocals, so it's distracting. So and they're not good vocals, so it's extra distracting. Like, I didn't think it added anything. Like,
I was fine with the way it opened because the beginning with the piano part, it just sounds like Psycho. And I think if they kept that and maybe built on it without the vocals, like you said, maybe it builds to the vocals at the end of
the very end. The crescendo can have it, but the structure of that was just very odd. The substance of it was fine. I'm interested in the circle. Social media gone wrong now controls him.
I'm interested in the idea of like Bray Wyatt the psycho, not Bray Wyatt the magic man, you know?
Yeah, like I liked the little Easter egg they did with the like the HIPAA violation.
That's right. The QR code, and then it leads to an outpatient treatment
which has stuff redacted, but like not the personal information,
not his client ID, tell you that much. 1855 whatever the hell the number was.
It was very funny, but I didn't mind that, because I thought it was like, okay, this is an interesting character. We're doing this, like, I got problems, I know I got problems. And then one of the vignettes shows a creepy cowboy man.
Very excited for Vincent to make his WWE debut soon. Got the shit beat out of him by PCO. Now it's time to do something new.
It's very funny.
I don't know. I'm kind of excited for what they're going to do with Bray. I think I'm looking more forward to it now than I have in the past. It's not the Fiend. It's not, it's shooting fireballs and maggots being projected onto a mat during a WrestleMania title match. It's, again, keep him away from a title for as long as you possibly can. If you're going to give him a group of people around him, make one of those a tag team and make them tag team champions. That's fine. Bray Wyatt's not here for gold. He's not here for a world championship. He's here to cause chaos. So let's keep working on causing chaos. That's fine.
Yeah, I think it's all very interesting. I'm still cautiously optimistic. It has been good, but the first weird misstep, I think, is this strange music during the thing. But I don't know if that was entirely his call. So I don't know.
Stupid music. It's an emo band who just tried. I don't know. I got no problem.
It just doesn't work for me.
LA Knight, yeah.
The megastar. That's what they're going with for this.
From Hagerstown, Maryland.
Just like one, I often forget Maryland is a state. It's not. I don't know what they do there other than contain DC.
Contain is not the word I'd use, but go ahead. By the way, contain us by leaving a thumbs up on this video. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm excited for new LA Knight. Glad they got him away from the models thing. Not that I had a problem with the maximum male models. I did not. I think they should keep Massey and Monsoir and the lady whose name it doesn't matter.
You just said it. It's Maxine.
She's basically just wooden there. That's fine. She can be wooden though in that context. I'm fine with her as a male model manager who has no charisma. That's hilarious to me.
Yeah. I'm just excited to see what we do with LA Knight.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, do we do LA Knight versus Rey Mysterio?
I think that would be a very interesting program. Rey Mysterio's got like the world is his oyster right now. Getting him the hell away from Dom was like Triple H, like doing that on-screen meeting was very, very good because he's just, I think we can work something out. It's literally getting you away from your stupid son.
You couldn't beat him at WWE 2K13, so instead you're just gonna come over here, get the shit beat out of you by Walter.
He's having there's a renaissance, if you will, happening right now.
Renaissance. Oh, yeah, dropped my pen. It was so bad. Good stuff. Okay, fine. Yeah. And then last but not least, Legado del Fantasma and Hit Row. Well, Hit Row needs a friend. And everyone's like, oh, it's going to be Carmelo Hayes. Why do you think it's going to be Carmelo Hayes?
Yeah, I wonder what that might be. Yeah, you think he's rapped? He's not really a rapper. He just uses slang, but I guess that's difficult for some people to parse.
Cameron Grimes.
It should be Cameron Grimes. We've said
Cameron Grimes should join Hit Row and just be the.
He's got a rap song as his theme. Just get him in there.
It's perfect. I don't know who it could be. Like, who could join Hit Row as a member? Trick Williams.
No, leave him with Carmelo. Don't mess that. That's a good thing going.
I agree. If this was still the WWE led by Vince McMahon, they would have split those two up and they would have pushed Trick to the moon.
Yeah, of course they would have.
It ain't Carmelo. Stop putting Carmelo Hayes' name out there. It's just too. No,
don't break up the Street Profits.
Don't break up the Street Profits. I still need to know why that boot is being worn.
Yeah, I don't know. So I have so many questions. Where are they? What's happening?
Exactly. We're gonna find out. But yeah, we got on Hit Row. I'm fine with that. A returning Leo Rush. I think he's a little busy right now. He's got some GCW dates. Also, I'd love to see him do the Bobby Lashley thing again. Hit him with the glutes. I don't know what
I don't know.
Perfect.
Oh man, not in ring.
No. That's the way you do it. I don't know. You can do Legado is 3. Hit Row is 2. Who could it be? Who could it be?
I don't know. This took such a weird turn that I wasn't expecting. Like I thought we were building up tag teams, but now we just got this, and then Legado is there without the right lady. Like, ooh yeah, family business is booming. We've acquired mergers and acquisitions, but we ditched one lady for some reason.
I miss Electra Lopez.
Same. Like
it's harder for me to stand.
Such a much better fit. Like just way better fit.
All right, let's get out of here. We have so much to do today. Friends, we have some changes coming to Fightful Overbooked soon. I'll tell you now, the Tag Talk is moving to Mondays. They're going to start going live, hopefully at 3 p.m. Eastern. That's the plan. We're just trying to shore that up. Yes,
he did it. Yeah, that's it. That's who should join it. He is the only other rapper in WWE. Just add him because that would be So goddamn funny.
Let's do that. Our truth is the guy. We're doing it. Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah. So keep an eye out. FMC is probably going to move to Tuesdays moving forward, but we're getting to that. We'll make full announcements when we do that. And Tim and I are talking about changing the time of this show because let's face it, noon on a Sunday, as great as it is that none of you find us, which is what we love, it would be nice to have our day not cut into the middle of it. So, Tim, where can the people find you on the internet?
They can find me at Tim Stone P, TIMBSTONEP on Twitter. Some of y'all got the wrong energy though. Don't find me.
It's Tim and Joel calling the ring. We do this once a week. Who knows when? We'll figure it out. I'm at Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.